Welcome to EPG Pathshala. The module title is Center Tendency Measure 1. In this module, I will discuss an important topic of descriptive statistics, that is center tendency. Center tendency is basically an important tool that helps you see that how you can find a single value from a large data set. So in this module I will discuss different method or measures to find out a center tendency, and in this module we will also discuss which method is used for which particular situation. Let's start it. In real life we collect data from population that has same characteristics for a particular objective. The data that are collected contain may have different information. Now how we can say anything about the nature of the data? In this scenario we use a measure that provides an idea about the data. This measure is called center tendency measure. Center tendency is a measure that provides a single value that represents a group of values. However, it should satisfy some certain conditions. There are some properties that are expected from the central tendency measure. It should be defined in a rigid manner such that its meaning should be unambiguous. It should be calculated on the entire observation in the data. It should be calculated in a little time frame and in an easy manner. It should possess mathematical properties so that we can further use it. It should not be influenced by the extreme values of the data. It must be sensitive to the small changes in the data values. Although while applying the measures on the data, one should keep in mind the data should be collected from homogeneous group. If the data is from the homogeneous group, then the value that we get may lead to incorrect decision. For example, while calculating the average height of the student in a class, one should first categorize the gender at first place. After that, calculate its mean value on category basis. If students are not categorized according to the gender, then the average height of student lead to unrepresentative form. Hence, one can solve this type of problem by categorizing heterogeneous data into homogeneous one. In statistics, three measures are considered generally, that is mean, median and mode. Mean measure is further divided into three categories. First is arithmetic mean, second is geometric mean, third one is harmonic mean. The relationship between different measures are shown below. So from the this flow chart we can see that measure of center tendency is divided in two segments, that is mathematical average and positional average. Under mathematical average we have three measures, that is arithmetic mean, geometric mean and third one is harmonic mean. And under positional average, median, mode and quantize. We will discuss positional average in the next module, that is center tendency measure 2. Here we will discuss only three measures, that is mathematical average measure, that is arithmetic mean, geometric mean and their relationship in this module. From the above measure, the arithmetic mean, median and mode are widely used. On the other hand, geometric, harmonic mean are used in particular situation. In the following section, one can see the complete description of these measures in detail. So starting with mathematical averages, first is arithmetic mean. Arithmetic mean is among the most widely used measure of center tendency for a single representation of observations. The formula for the evaluation of the arithmetic mean is given as sum of observations is taken in the numerator and number of observations is taken in the denominator. So let x1, x2, xn be n observations is in a data set. The arithmetic mean of the data is noted by x bar, and which is equal to summation over xi upon n arithmetic mean. For example, let 23, 24, 25, 35, 32 be 5 class size of different sections of 9th class in a private school, and we are interested in to find out the average class size in 9th class. To calculate this, we first calculate the sum of all the class sizes and divided it by the number of sections. The arithmetic mean is 27.8. It means that there is approximately 28 students on average basis in each class. This method cannot be applied if the number of elements in the dataset are very large. For the convenience purpose, frequency tabulation method is used. One can recall the tabulation method from the previous modules. So let x1, x2, xn have frequency, and the frequencies are given here respectively as f1, f2 and fn. That means that in the complete data set x1 appears f1 times and x2 appears f2 times and so on. Hence, in this situation the formula for arithmetic mean is given as x bar, which is equal to f1 x1 plus f2 x2 so on fn xn divided by summation over all the frequency value. This method of calculating arithmetic mean in terms of frequency is known as weighted arithmetic mean, as we are multiplying the xi's with the corresponding frequencies. So we are discussing an example. An example consists of number of children in 50 families in a locality is presented below. Will give you better understanding of the weighted arithmetic mean. The example is here is number of children are given and families. Now to calculate the average number of child in a family, one can use weighted arithmetic mean and the value is coming out to be 1.4, so we are taking it as 1 approximate value. Hence on average there is a single child in each family. Also in real life we have large amount of data, so we know from the module diagrammatic and graphic representation of data that in such type of cases one can construct frequency table. So for example, we are interested in the marks of the students spending hours on daily basis to learn through online program, and artificial data was available of 1000 students and information is given the following table. So on the left first column we have time spent in hours by students, and on the right hand side we have number of students. So now if we are interested to find out the average number of hours spent on average basis using arithmetic mean, the formula is x bar, which is equal to f1 x1 plus f2 x2 so on fn xn divided by f1 plus f2 and so on fn. But here x1, x2, xn are the midpoints of class intervals, so the arithmetic mean of the data can be founded as by using the value, by putting the values in the formula we will get 3.360. Hence from the above example we conclude that 3.36 hours, or means 3 hours and 6 minutes on average are spent by the students on daily basis. Now we will discuss about the merits and demerits of arithmetic mean. The merits of arithmetic means are: arithmetic mean can be easily understood by a person and do not require any particular need to explain it. The calculations of the arithmetic mean is very simple and does not require any calculation, that is complex one. It is derived without ordering the data like other measures of standard tendency. It is considered as comparative, very stable and good method of standard tendency in comparison to other measures. If one has large amount of data, then it is considered as a good method of standard tendency, as the unusual observations in one direction that can be offset by the unusual observations in the other direction. And the demerits of arithmetic means are: there are also certain shortcomings of any measures. So arithmetic mean is not an assumption. Some of demerits of arithmetic means are given here. Arithmetic mean cannot be obtained through guesses like other measures. Mode, whether it is not considered as a major demerit, but still it is. Also median can be located graphically, but arithmetic mean cannot. Arithmetic mean cannot be found for the data when one has missing observation in the data. Also for a small set of data it is highly sensitive by the extreme value. In such cases arithmetic mean will lead to a wrong conclusion. Arithmetic mean cannot be evaluated for the quality characteristics that cannot be measured like sex, level of illness, etc. In such cases it is suitable to use other measures of tendency like median. It may be possible that a value calculated through arithmetic mean is difficult to interpret. For example, one can recall the value of arithmetic mean evaluated from table 1, which is coming up to 1.4, that has no interpretation as child is considered in units, not in fraction. So 1.4 child is meaningless. So sometimes it may lead to the false conclusion. So at the last, one can say that arithmetic mean is considered as the simplest measure of standard tendency, but it will mislead you when data are of heterogeneous form, that is non-homogeneous. Now we are coming up to the next standard tendency measure, that is geometric mean. Geometric mean is another method to find out the mean of n observations. It is evaluated through the following method. Let us suppose we have x1, x2, xn observations, and the formula for geometric mean is given as product of x1, x2, xn with 1 upon n in the power. If x1, x2, xn has frequencies f1, f1, f2, fn respectively, for evaluating the geometric mean, the method is given here as that we have to take power of x1 with f1, x2 power is f2, and so on. Xn power is given taken as fn, and whole product power is taken as 1 upon n, where n is equal to summation of fi is the sum of all observation frequencies and is called the total frequency. Hence, one can use the above method to find the geometric mean of the observation. It is difficult to find out the geometric mean by using this formula, or one can use the above formula when the number of observation is very small. In this case, we can use log on both sides of the formula. The modified form of the formula is given here as, after taking log on both sides, you can see the formula is coming out to be 1 upon n summation of log of xi, and for the frequency data it is coming out to be 1 upon n summation of fi log of xi. So now if one is using the formula that is given in the previous equations, now we have to take anti-log of this formula to get geometric mean. So the new form of the formula is given here as anti-log into 1 upon n summation of log of xi, anti-log of 1 upon n summation of fi log of xi. So there are some steps for finding out geometric mean. So first is calculate log of the observations under base 10. Take the sum of all the observations, that is summation of log of xi, then find the log of geometric mean, divided log of by taking summation of log of xi by dividing it by total number of observations. Now take anti-log of base 10 of 1 upon n summation of log of xi, and this is geometric mean of the required data. So we are taking an example here that will help you to understand the concept in a very easy manner. So in table 3, we have observations that is given in the first column, and after taking log, the values are given here in the second column. So we have 8 observations, and after sum of 8 observations are given as 1. After taking log, that is coming out to be 13.511. Now take log of geometric mean, that is coming out to be 1.688. The geometric mean is derived by taking anti-log of 1.688, that is coming out to be 48.86. So from the above data, the required value is calculated as 48.86. Now to find the geometric mean of data when the data set has frequencies with them, there are further 2 cases, that is, first is discrete case and second is continuous case. So in discrete case we have ungrouped frequency series, and continuous case we have group frequency series. In the first case, observations are given with the corresponding frequencies. In the second case, as data is given in the class interval, in these 2 cases the geometric mean is calculated in a different manner. So we are discussing the first case, that is discrete case. Geometric mean for discrete case is considered first. The steps are given here as: take log with base 10 of the observations, multiply the log value with the corresponding frequencies values and take their sum, that the formula is coming up to be summation of fi log of xi, divide the terms by capital N, that is total frequency. Now take anti-log with base 10 of 1 upon n summation of fi log of xi. This will give the value of geometric mean for the frequency data. So in this second example or question, we will find it out the value of geometric mean. So in the first column we have observations available, and in the second column we have corresponding frequencies. So after taking a log of observations, the values are coming out in the third column, and we are taking product of frequencies and log of xi, that is shown in the fourth column. So in table 5, data values are given in the first column and the corresponding frequency second column. Logarithmic of observations are calculated in third column, that we already discussed. Fourth column represents the values of product of logarithmic values to the frequencies, which is coming out to be 88.1565. That represents the sum of frequencies with their logs, and 1.69 is calculated by dividing the total by the total frequency, that is 52, and 49.58 is the anti-log of 1.695. Hence the geometric mean is calculated as 49.5841,632. So now we have to find out the geometric mean for continuous case. So what is continuous case? Or we have class in the continuous case we have data given in the class interval. So if the data is of continuous form, then one has to first construct frequency table using class intervals. Then one can find out geometric mean for the continuous case. There are few steps for calculating geometric mean in these cases. These steps are: first, calculate the midpoint of the class interval, calculate log with base 10 of the mid values of the each class interval, and it is noted as log of mi. Multiply the log value with the corresponding frequency value and take their sum. So the formula is coming up to be summation of fi log of mi. Now divide the term summation of fi log of mi by n, which where n denotes the total frequency. After taking anti-log with base 10 of this term, this will give you the value of geometric mean for the frequency data. So in this question, we have class intervals that is given in the first column, and we have frequency that is given in the second column. So first we have to find out the mid value. So in the second column we take the mid values, that is by adding 0 and 5 and divided by 2, which is coming out to be 2.5, and so on. We derive the values of mid value, and we have available frequencies respectively. So after taking log of mi, that is taking log of second column, we get the fourth column, and multiplying log of mi with the corresponding frequency value, we will get the fifth column. So the total is coming out to be 35.6158, and the log of geometric mean is 1.079268. So by taking anti-log with base 10, you will get the value of geometric mean as 12.00. So in table 7, first column represents the class intervals, and the corresponding frequencies are given in the third column. So mid values already discussed, that how you have to derive these values. So basically our main purpose is here, that how you have to solve the values for geometric mean for the particular example. So geometric mean is coming out to be 12.00242219. Hence one can use the above step for calculating the geometric mean in continuous case. Merits of geometric mean: it is defined in a rigid manner. It is based on all the observation data and cannot be calculated for data with missing value. Geometric mean can be calculated in those cases where only the total product of observations and number of observations are known without having knowledge of individual values. Geometric mean can be calculated for further mathematical treatment like ratios and percentage. Therefore, it can be used for further analysis like index number, etc. The main advantage of geometric mean, that is, it is not affected by the extreme large values and small values. So it gives more weightage to small values in comparative to arithmetic mean, which give more weightage to large values. Some of the demerits of geometric means are due to complexity involved in the calculation of geometric mean, it is difficult for a non-mathematical person to understand it. Second is the calculation of geometric mean requires the knowledge of logarithmic that is difficult for a person to understand. Geometric mean cannot be calculated for the data which contains a value 0. Geometric mean is not useful for the data that had different signs, that is, some of the observations are positive and others are negative. In such cases, geometric mean value has no meaning. Geometric mean value may not be the actual value of the observations like other measures of center tendency. Geometric mean is not advisable to use in those cases where small observation must be given more weightage and higher observation must be given less weightage. So now we will discuss another measure, that is harmonic mean. Harmonic mean is calculated by the first taking the reciprocal observation, then taking the reciprocal of arithmetic of these reciprocal observations. So let us suppose we have x1, x2, xn, n observations. So the formula is coming out to be n divided by summation 1 upon xi. When observation is given with frequency, the formula for the harmonic mean is evaluated by using the following formula, that it is coming out to be capital N, which is sum of all the frequencies divided by summation over fi divided by xi. Harmonic mean is basically used in the case where ratios and rates are involved, like per hour, per month, per liter, per minute, etc. It is used to find out the average of different types of rates. These rates are basically used to explain the relationship between two units of opposite nature, like as you increase the speed of the vehicle, then this shortens the travelling time. Hence, harmonic mean is used to find out the average speed in kilometers per hour for a given distance. So in this question we have to find out the harmonic mean. So in the first column we have kilometer per hour and reciprocal of observations are given in the second column. Similarly, one can, so the value is coming out to be 52.2086. By using the above formula we will get this value for harmonic mean. So similarly, one can keep the following steps in mind to find out the harmonic mean for observations with frequencies. There are steps for finding out the harmonic mean for ungrouped frequency data. First, we have to find out the reciprocal observations, multiply the reciprocal observation with the corresponding frequencies and take their sum. So after that we have to divide this sum by capital N, which is total frequency. This will give you the value of harmonic mean for discrete frequency data. For group frequency data, the steps are: first, calculate the midpoints of class interval, multiply the reciprocal observation with the corresponding frequency values and take their sums. After this, we have to divide this sum by capital N. This will give the value of harmonic mean for group frequency data. Now we will discuss the merits and demerits of harmonic mean. The first merit is harmonic mean is defined in a rigid manner. Second is harmonic mean is evaluated on all the observation in the data. Harmonic mean give less weightage to large values and more weightage to small values. So this measure is appropriate in those cases where such condition is required. Harmonic mean is used to measure relative changes and is widely used for the averaging of ratios and rates. Some of the demerits of harmonic means are: harmonic mean is very difficult measure to be understood by the non-mathematical background person. Harmonic mean is comparatively difficult to calculate than other measures. Harmonic mean can be evaluated if the values of observation is 0. Harmonic mean cannot be evaluated when some of the observations are positive and some are negative. Harmonic mean value does not exist in the dataset. Now after discussing three measures, that is arithmetic mean, harmonic mean and geometric mean, now we will give you the brief about relationship between arithmetic mean, geometric mean and harmonic mean. Arithmetic mean is always greater than or equal to geometric mean. Geometric mean is greater than or equal to harmonic mean for a given observation. So in mathematical term, they are all connected through a mathematical equation, that is arithmetic mean should be greater than equal to geometric mean, which is greater than equal to harmonic mean. These measures are only equal when all the observations are same in the data. In this module, we discuss three measures of standard tendency. First is arithmetic mean, geometric mean, harmonic mean. For arithmetic mean, we discuss how we can evaluate arithmetic mean for different data set, that is ungrouped frequency, frequency. And similarly for geometric mean and harmonic mean, we also discuss that how you can evaluate this method for calculating standard tendency. Thank you.